I'm Simon Brown. We're going to be looking at the standard online share trading and viewpoint, how to create watch lists. There's some really strong functionality, particularly in the website part of the platform, viewpoint as well. We'll do it live on the website. If you've got questions, drop them into the Q&A box. We've certainly got some time. Let's kick off with the viewpoint. So I've got a tab open. Eventually, you max out your number of tabs. If you go to that little hamburger over there and you say add a widget. Now, here come up your various different lists of widgets. We have touched on some of them before. The one in particular we're looking for today. So the one is you can go and grab your portfolio and pull your portfolio in. We've touched on that one, trade analysis, a whole lot. The one I want to focus on today is the watch list. So we pull in a watch list and it comes in and it's completely blank. There is nothing there. But I already have some saved watch lists. So I could go and click on the load button and load one of mine. So for example, if I pull in my indices watch list, you'll note that that happens to be the same one I have on my main page here. My watch list lurking just behind that is what I call my EMs, which is emerging market currencies. It's a whole lot of currencies that I'm focusing on in that space there. So those are watch lists that already exist that I have created myself within the viewpoint environment. There's other tricks to what we can call in a watch list. So we could do, for example, J200. Now note that I put the backslash before it, and that then pulls in all the stocks that make up the J200, which happens to be the top 40 index. So that then brings in the entire index that we've got there. And I can do that for any of the indices. J210 will bring, I forgot the J part, J210 brings me the Resi 10 index. So you can pull in per index, any of the indices that you want. Can I do, you see, you need to know the code for them. So they all start at J2, 200 is top 40, 01 is mid-cap, 210 is Resi, 211 is Indie, 212 is Finny, 253, for example, is listed property, the SAPI, the South African Property Yielding Index. So those are how you can pull in already existing. Now, you can certainly add to these if you want, but let's clear this and let's create our own watch list. So we could also just create a watch list of stocks that we are particularly interested in. So let's add some Sassels. Let's add the SPA oil. Let's add Brent. We could also add, I struggle with the code for West Texas, but I've got it over here. No, that's not going to help. So the short answer is you can go and create your own watch lists of whatever you want to see, and then you would go and click a save as, and you would save. And it now saves into the server. So when you come back to Viewpoint Iris from wherever you might be logging into, you can now go and grab that again. So broadly, if you've already got, you can load from what you've got. Obviously, click on the little garbage can to delete them. You can pull in a entire index and all the stocks of that index if you want, and you can see, so that then pulls in, this is now the mid cap, and this now pulls in all of those particular shares around that exist within that mid cap index. So nice and quick and simple. And as I said, you can also create your own as and when you want. I've got a couple floating. So over here I've got what I call my indices. It's kind of like all the bits and pieces that matter. Local indices, currencies, some commodities, some ETFs I'm keeping an eye on, also some offshore indices. These are the emerging market currencies. Largely, I watch that to see if we're moving, are we the outlier or not. So today our ZAR is a percent stronger at just around 1816. And what we've got here is that that is a bit of an outlier in terms of its strengthening. We go from the Korean won, 0.5% weaker, to us being a little bit stronger. And then in this space here, I've got my watch lists as well. That is just a watch list that I've put together. We've got the 203, which is the all share. It's about 160 stocks. That is the mid cap, and there is the the top 40. Someone asking what is in the all share. So slash J203. And that is about 160 odd stocks. It's pretty much across the board in terms of what's available. Timothy, can you add a warrant? I don't see any reason why not. Well, actually, yes, you can, because here, so I've got a position on the top SPZ, which is a put warrant, and there it is into a watch list as well. Don't forget that you need to save these watch lists as and when you add. So as I'm adding and deleting from my primary, which I call indices watch list, I need to go over and click the save button so that when I come back, how I have constructed it remains in place. Julian, great question. Can you import from OST? Nope, you can't. It would be great if you can. How did I create that heat map? Good question. How did I create that heat map? I'm assuming it's one of the widgets. Sorry, I do things and then I don't know how I did them. Market depth, histogram, news ticker, order pad. Where is it? Where is it? Timescales, trade analysis. Really? Is it not there? Because I've got, so the heat map is that there. And how did I get that? It calls itself a map. Market map. They don't call it a heat map, they call it a market map. And then again, you would pull in, so your different regions, you could pull in a particular watch list if you wanted. So what I run with it is the J203. So it's a watch list, and what the J23 then gives me is the majority of stocks. Some of them you're going to look at and you're going to think, why are those sitting in that particular index? So in financials down here, financials doesn't look too bad. Sometimes it's weird as to what exists. That's just how it is. I mean, yeah, the JC decides the indices. We can also decide on a how you want to do it. Do you want to do it on just market cap, percentage moves? So market cap, the problem with that is you get a couple of large stocks that completely overwhelm it. You could do market value, that's interesting, but again, a couple of stocks that completely overwhelm it. Volume, which you could flip around the other side. So first round, because it's a cheaper stock relative to, say, Standard Bank. Yeah, so I always just do move percentage. Michael, watch list to certain JC indices I'd like to keep an eye on. My problem is it does not show the name of the index, just the J number. That is weird because what am I wanting to do? I'm getting them here. So this is my watch list. So if I add J203 as the all share, it pops up and it does call it as per its name. I wonder if I did J203 and I pulled it from Watchlist. Yeah, that then pulled in every single stock. That is not what I wanted to do, but no fear because I hadn't saved it. Michael, I'm going to dig around that. Drop me a mail or something because that is weird. And as you can see here, I'm getting the actual index now. Oh, hang on. I know what the problem might be. And that was what I wanted to come to once you've got yourself a watch list. So you've now got a massive amount of data here. Now we can debate, some of it you might be interested in, VWAPs, dividend amounts, etc., etc., etc. You click that little box over there, and you add to it and what you want to see, etc., etc. Which ones are you interested in? You can add and remove. You can do as you wish. Now let me see, Michael, what I think I have over here. Yeah, so I have description rather than code. I suspect that you've got code, which is why it's showing you the J20 number rather than the actual name of it. So simply click on that little sort of Excel spreadsheeting thingy there, remove code, add description, and you will be in business. When top 40 constituents change, will it automatically update, Peter? Yes, it does. So as stocks, so every quarter when stocks are going in and out of the indices, it automatically updates itself next time you log on. I stress the next time you log on. Anyone else have an issue accessing ViewPoint via Safari on iOS? If you mean by iOS, you mean on a tablet or a iPhone, iPad or iPhone. It doesn't work on iPad or iPhone, and it's one of the. I think Iris ViewPoint is a great product. I just wish it could work on a tablet. Now, in my case, my tablet is as old as the hills, and I definitely want the new one if I can just find some good reason to justify dropping 20 plus K on it. But it's to do with the way the browser operates on those. So it doesn't work on tablets, and the ditto, Mervyn, is for Android. Not that that's of concern to you. Ross, yes, you will. It will be on the YouTube, Standard Online Share Trading YouTube. Say midday today, if you just head over to YouTube, search Standard Online Share Trading, no bank, just Standard Online Share Trading, you'll find it there. John, how did I change the background from white to black? Great question. I have no idea because that would be one of the first things that I did. And I suspect, there it is, under that little there, I click on Preferences, show notifications. Yes, you are allowed to show notifications. Is it here? Advanced settings. Those are all my different alerts. General settings. No, it wasn't there. So how did I get that? Here's my alerts. So this is one of those things which I did way back in the day, and now I simply am not sure. No, I do not want to log out. Rename worksheets, languages. Oh, there it is, color. Sometimes I am. So under there, you've got color, you've got dark, or you've got light. There's the light one. I hate. It's weird. I don't. The whole dark screens don't thrill me at all. But on my charting platforms, I have always been a dark screen individual. John, there you go for that one. EJ, how do we access drawing tools on the left-hand side of a chart? Yep. So let me go and find you a chart. And this happens to be Apple. So you'll see them there. Sometimes they disappear. Then you've got to click, and I don't know if you can see it quite, but there's a tiny little arrow there, show drawing tools, boom, there are your drawing tools. And now you can go and do your various different line drawings, etc., etc. Trend lines, which one should we do? Parallel. I'm a big fan of parallel trend lines. And there's your parallel. And then click it, delete it. Craig, how do you rename the worksheets? So I'll just go double click it. That did not work. Rename worksheet up there. And then that's wanting to rename my main worksheet at the top. How do I rename that worksheet? Now there, it will be here, I imagine. Nope, that doesn't let me. So I can carve it, I can download it, I can replace it, I can detach it, I can do a whole large amount. Short answer is I don't seem to be able to. So if I come over to here, no, my worksheets seem to be default. So I can rename the tabs on the top, but it does seem, Craig, that I can't rename the worksheets that sit within those top tabs. Simon had the same issue with Safari OST. Let me know I needed to use Chrome. Don, was that on iPads and tablets? Because man, if I can get this to work on an iPad, then I have a reason to get myself the new fancy iPad. I'm going to try that afterwards. And typically, I don't use Safari. I use either the Brave browser, which I'm absolutely loving because it's light and fast, and then I use Chrome for legacy reasons. Although truthfully, I should switch across into everything into Brave. EJ, they've disappeared. How do you get them back? If they've disappeared, then sometimes when they disappear, it really is just a case of finding that tiny, tiny little arrow in the side there and clicking that. If that isn't helping you, drop me a mail. You've got my email, simon@justonelap.com, and let me dig around on that. So for me, they default come with that open, and I dislike it intensely. So I spend half my time closing it. But there should be the tiniest of little arrows there. If they have disappeared, give me a shout and let me dig around that, because that I don't know about. I'm going to have to go and do some digging to see where that went. So that's watch lists within the Iris viewpoint. Obviously, if you're on the delayed, you're running a 15-minute delayed. Otherwise, it is running in live time. What you can do, what I've set up with my lazy here, is you see these little color tabs. Now, they're everywhere, right? So over here, you see that little color tab up at the top there. And with my lazy, I've made all three of them red. So as I change one for the other, and I change for Dischem, all three load with Dischem. I get the Dischem chart, I get the full market depth, and I get all the sense announcements coming for Dischem as well. But let's head and log in, and let's look at watch lists within the online share trading. Yes, it does, Brian. You can access offshore shares. I haven't had any problem in terms of ones that I can't access. So there's Apple, for example, Tesla, and then sometimes you get vast different types of. I just want Tesla on Nasdaq. Keep it nice and simple. But in my experience, I've had there it is, Tesla.nsa. I didn't have the code right. I've had no issues with finding. And we've got indices as well. And the indices aren't always intuitive, in which case that little hamburger at the top up there, go to Help Center and you'll find that list of the indices. Don, yeah. So on the Mac, yeah. So Safari, I just found a very, very clunky browser generally. So I'm using Chrome or Brave. I've used Firefox as well. Chrome has got some great features. It's just a bit of a memory hog. Whenever I go up here, and a battery hog. Okay, so go to meetings, eating battery now. That's because I'm not in Chrome, so it's shut down. So let's look at some watch lists within. Now, firstly, you can see I've got a watch list that defaults, just drops, automatically loads on my home page. But what we do is we go and we find under my account, obviously, first is portfolio, then is watch list. And you land on this page here, which has got a fair chunk of information. Now, firstly, you can see I've got a large number of watch lists up here. What you'll also notice is none of them are the same watch list from Viewpoint Iris. But let's take, for example, my indices one. Actually, no, let's take my SMS one. And I'll show you why I'm picking this one in a moment. So this is just it's got the four primary, well, the primary and the three secondary indices from the JSE. It's also got the US dollar exchange rate, and then it gives me the gold price. And now I've added these, and I'll show you how I added them in a moment. If I click set default, that would be the one that loads on the home page as I came in. So that's important, that at the moment I've got the other one lurking, but that's how I would then set it to be there. I can edit it. Edit will enable me to add and remove different what I'm looking at in terms of the datas and all of that sort of thing. And that's just column visibility. What do you see in the column? Now, in this case, in the SMS one, there's a lot that is actually not important, and you can see that actually I haven't updated. For example, trade dates, which these are indices, so they are all moot or and the like. Previous day, trade price, etc. Bids and offers, which are applicable to currencies and commodities, but not to the indices. So you can pick what you want to see there. What I then do is down at the bottom down here is look what you can do is you can request these indices. So you can download them as a CSV, you can download them as Excel. Those are nice and simple, self-explanatory. What you can also do is request them to be emailed or SMS to you. So I don't get them emailed to me. You can choose your email, text, HTML, or CSV. CSV will obviously come as an attachment, or you can say, I want them to have via SMS. You say which of your watch lists you want sent to you. You pick the days of the week. Monday to Friday. You pick the particular times you would like them to come to you, and then you click the update or the ad if you haven't got it before. So what I get is every day, 12, 4, and 5 o'clock, I get an SMS sent to me. I pay for that SMS, 25 cents. It comes out of my quote bank, and that SMS is sent to me with those 5 different instruments. I've only got 5 instruments because as you add more instruments, it becomes more SMSs, and I'm paying per SMS. It also comes 15-minute delay. So although I've selected 12, 4, and 5 p.m., I'm actually receiving it at 12:15, 4:15, and 5:15. You can also grab the opening one there, which is 9:10, which essentially will give you the sort of the open. We don't do 9 o'clock because oftentimes the market might only open at a minute past, in which case you miss. So just a little bit thereafter. So you can elect to have these watch lists sent to you via SMS or via email, and whichever you want. So there's my Aussie one. Well, I'm not even sure. There's nothing in the Aussie one, so let's delete that watch list. I've got info delivery. Oh, so that was the other one. Info delivery. Yeah, that was what I used to be calling it. What I've got here is cents. So what I used to do was for these particular stocks is I used to request, and I thought I had watch list prices, watch list cents. Yeah, so I have deactivated that for cents delivery. I've turned it off. So what I was getting was my cents delivery was being automatically sent to me for when these stocks issued a cents announcement. I would then receive either an SMS, and the SMS just says there is a cents announcement, or an email, and the email would be the full cents announcement. Michael, I'll come back to yours in a moment. You can't, Brian, purchase offshore shares directly from ViewPoint. WebTrader and ViewPoint are fundamentally separate. You can have a watch list in ViewPoint of offshore shares, but you can't buy them. Mark, I use the light color settings on the charts, easier on the ink to print. Good point. The problem is the text is too white as well and disappears in the chart. Is there a way to change text color? I'm not sure. I'll go have a look in a moment and I will speak to techies. I think not. Is there a way to set the tracker date on your watch list? Simon Carr, I know what you're looking to do. And I honestly don't know. So let's go and check. What you're wanting to do is you're wanting to say, hang on a second. I want to, in essence, have a date that I started watching and a price. Now, you used to be able to. There it is there. Price at date is ended, change date since, and date added. So you can add those there. What you're looking for, and I'm not sure if what you want is quite going to work, is to set your own date. In other words, you might have added that instrument today. And now this is all just looking weird, and I'm not seeing the date because I've come into a fundamentally different one. Okay, that's messy. I don't think you can, what you're looking to do is set that particular date that you want rather than a date which is defined, and I think that is not available. As I said, remember, this is your default here. You can edit, you can change it, etc. Decide what you're wanting to look at, to change your default one. What you can also do is, so how do you add a share or an instrument to a watch list? SPK. I go to the quote page. And one of the buttons there is add to watch list. And that then, of course, says, sure, which watch list do you want to add it to? Oh, here's where you can do it. I knew there was a way. So this is how you can now set that particular date. So you set the share from its quote page, and now you can say, which is your starting date. You can also set your starting price. It default says today and current price, but you can set your own date and price. You can also set your own starting quantity. You can also add comments as to why you did. The other way you can add is to add from a portfolio. So here is what is this? Oh, this is my top Z warrant, the star with a little sort of plus sign. Same story. You can start tracking that. You can pick your quantity, your date, etc., etc. No problem whatsoever. Watch lists are useful. I like them. I like them. I like the SMSs that I get. I like things that are coming at me nice and simple. Simon, we sorted you. Yeah, no, magic. And I'm not being facetious. Like, I know a lot about this website. Some of the stuff, the problem is I've known it now. I've been in this platform for 21 years. I was one of the early clients way back in 1999. There's stuff that I've forgotten that I know. I mean, like, I think it can do it, but I'm not quite sure how. You want to track from 16th. Okay, there we go. So we are sorted. You may use price history, and then you add the share. Yep, got you there, EJ. Thank you very much. So question back to ViewPoint, how do you select the commodities? So commodities are not always intuitive. So for example, Brent is nice and easy, right? So there's Brent, and you do .if. Simple, we've got Brent. But WTI, it took me a vast amount of time. So you'd think that that would be it. That's not it there either. And then you go West Texas and there it is there. That's the West Texas. There's a delay down there. So sometimes just start typing that name in the full detail, etc. But I've got the spot. So then what is my code for West Texas? Oh, no, that is it. Okay, so it's the spot, but it's a 15-minute delayed WTIS.ID. If you, for example, go for gold, you get all sorts of crazy gold. But again, what did I want? I've got the comics gold future. So gold comics, there it is there, goldny.id. So it's not always massively intuitive. Some of them, for example, as well, you can type Japan, and there's your Nikkei 225, take the ID one. Sometimes you want to type in Nikkei 225. Did I spell that right? I think I did not. Nikkei. And there it is again. So you can actually come to it from two different directions. Someone is asking if we can add I got you there. Okay, so yeah, so it's not always massively, the ones where you know your code, that is nice and easy. Someone says the FTSE doesn't update. Correct, the FTSE will update overnight. It's not correcting live during the day. That always depends on licensing, etc., etc. And these are obviously all going to be in dollars. Your currencies are all there. Your USD. Notice USD, ZAR. There it is. So I could also add at the same time Euro ZAR. Let me add that. And then GBP ZAR. And then that comes in there as well. What I can do is I can also drag them. So I want all my currencies in one place. Well, then let me drag them all to the same place. And ditto. So there are my currencies now all in the same place. That little three dots there, you can remove, buy, sell, create, alert, get a quote, get a chart or profile on it. So you can find some more information from there. Let me save that. The question was coming around text. Let me check on that. So if I change my color to light, okay, so my color is light and I can see that that's going to have on my chart. But how do we change the text on, whoa, and look what happens there. That's weird. And I can't even, so I'm wondering if that format button there, so I can change lots, but I'm not able to change font. No, not able to change font. I'm going to chase that down. I haven't ever tried to change the text, so I'm not sure, but let's go and there must be a way, I imagine. And then, of course, there's the Help Center, opens up and gives you bunches of what's happening, etc., the topic help, an index, etc. And oh yeah, that was just the news and all of those sort of things. What I'm looking for here, and I'm not seeing it, is where is my list of all the different codes, etc., etc. Because as I said, some of those codes are less intuitive than others. Mark, I use the light. Yeah, problem is text is white as well. Disappears off the chart. Is there a way to change text color? Mark, I'm going to chase this up with Ishmael, who is main person what account in terms of Iris. Let's see if there is. I meant to go to an index and type text. Nope, that didn't help. Yeah, so I'm gonna chase this up with Ishmael, see if he can help me in that regard. Mark, drop me an email, simon@justonelap.com, or tweet me, Simon PB on the tweets. Let me see what I can find out about that. Ladies and gents, we'll park there. We have hit a half hour. As I was saying, watch list, deadly simple, but actually a lot of power there, particularly the small things like get it SMS to you, get it emailed to you. There's some hack jobs you can do here. Is you can create a giant watch list and you can get the CSV sent to you and you can drop it into Excel and have all sorts of fun and games with it. But ladies and gents, we will park that there. Seems to be limit 50. Oh, yes, that's right, Kenneth. There is a limit, so you have to create multiple of them. And I think I was involved in setting that limit at one point. So you have to at that point then go and grab them. Carl. Yeah, Carl, I think you mentioned this to me a while ago. So for me, it's working perfectly fine. And that's the worst part with bugs where EJ Pleasure, where someone's got it and it's not able to be replicated. Let me dig around on this as well. Drop me a mail. Let me see what else I can do. So as I said, I've tried Firefox. I tried it in Chrome. I think a few weeks ago we tested it. It was fine for me. It's fine working here. Something somewhere is buggy. I'm assuming that you're on latest Chrome. Let's dig around and let's see. I'll chat with Ishmael is that. Fritz, I'm going to do WebTrader next week. I'm trying to get Edition in to run us through that process completely separate. Simon Carr, absolute pleasure. Ladies and gents, we'll park it there. Everyone, have a great day further. Cheers all.